and welcome to Tuesday Newsday, your number one resource for the entire week's worth of VR news. So it seems there was some confusion last Sunday when I posted a Tuesday Newsday update, and rightfully so. The video was 5 days late. I know I got a few comments from people that were even upset, and I understand. But I have been doing this series on this channel for over 7 months, and while I have missed a few Tuesdays, I will never miss a week, even if it's a few days late due to life circumstances. I will say though, this is the last time you'll be seeing this intro in particular, so be ready. Either way, let's get right into the news and some information on Left 4 Dead VR. Before I talk about AR contact lenses, let's start with the number one question I get asked all the time on Twitter, Discord, and here in comments, and it's regarding the Valve Index. Everyone wants to know, when is the Valve Index coming back in stock? Well, right now, I can reluctantly say that the Valve Index is sold out worldwide. As of now, the Index was available in 31 countries, and, well, you can't buy the full kit in any one of them anymore. In fact, everywhere besides Japan, you can't even purchase the components individually either. As much as this is an amazing thing for me and the VR industry and Valve on a surface level, I can't help but think that this is kind of a bad thing too. People are out there wanting to drop $1,000 on a VR headset, and they just can't right now. Whether that's due to Valve just not being able to make enough indexes fast enough to supply the demand, or they're pulling a Nintendo-esque tactic to increase demand by restricting the supply, I don't really know. But an answer to so many people's questions regarding when the Index will be available again may be here. Valve said to Road to VR specifically, "We are working hard in building more Index units to meet the high demand, and we expect it to be in stock before Alex ships." So Half-Life Alyx has a March 2020 release date, and unless that date gets delayed on Valve time, that means that we can expect the Index to come back in stock at least sometime before then. That means that if you've been waiting and waiting to buy your very own Valve headset, sometime in the next 2 months, you should have your opportunity to do so. Of course, if there are any updates regarding delays or availability, I'll be talking about it here weekly. Staying on the topic of Valve, we finally got some information regarding Left 4 Dead 3, or what many have said is flat out Left 4 Dead VR. For months now, it's been assumed that one of Valve's 3 VR games they've stated that they've been developing has been Left 4 Dead VR. Well, that assumption is looking pretty grim right now. Tyler from Valve News Network has said it multiple times in tweets and his own videos that Left 4 Dead VR is real. And in an HTC Vive meeting, slides released by Alvin Wong, the HTC Vive China president, even made it sound like there was some insider information or speculation regarding the expected effects of Left 4 Dead VR's release. Well, Valve has come out of the woodwork and confirmed with IGN that no game in the franchise is coming anytime soon. Quote, "Unfortunately for now, a new Left 4 Dead game is not something we're working on. We've seen rumors to this effect for the last couple of months. We did briefly explore some Left 4 Dead next-gen opportunities a few years ago, but we are absolutely not working on anything Left 4 Dead related right now, and haven't for years." End quote. I think it's kind of funny how everyone, including myself, just blindly expected a game within the Left 4 Dead franchise to be coming to VR, as it sounds like it would be a great fit for the platform and it's a good time for a new entry. But this is a good reminder to not get too excited about anything that isn't confirmed or official. It's sad, I know. Left 4 Dead is not coming to VR or on flat screen anytime soon. Doesn't mean it never will, it's just not on the roadmap at the current time. Well, enough with Valve news for now. I love talking about cool AR and VR tech, and this is something I just can't pass up covering. Maybe I'm alone in the thought, but I've always imagined how insanely cool it would be to have some sort of incognito augmented reality display, whether that be glasses or an optic nerve augmentation, or even contact lenses. I mean, just think if you had your own personal scouter to assess someone's power level, or instantly translate text while in a foreign language. I guess that's more practical, but I still want my own scouter. Regardless, the tech is closer than you'd think. Mojo Vision has developed a set of smart contact lenses, and these aren't just a batch of plans or patents. The team that created them wears them all the time, and a CNET journalist even got to try them out for himself. Let me just run you down some of the impressive specs. Mojo has managed to squeeze 70,000 pixels into a space of less than half a millimeter. Of course, the teeny tiny display is monochrome and green and isn't going to rival even the worst of AR displays. But I'll just remind you that all this is squeezed into a contact lens that sits on your eye. The part that scared me initially is when you think about how something like this is powered. The contact lens itself has an integrated solid-state battery that is powerful enough to keep the device powered all day, and is charged wireless via a small lens case. I guess that makes sense, as it would likely be pretty difficult to plug in a USB-C cable into a contact lens. The insanely micro scale of everything that is required to make this thing work is kind of mind-boggling. But the team isn't done cramming more into the small space. Upcoming versions of the contact lens will include eye tracking, computer vision, smartphone tethering, and even better optical sensors. Now, this thing is not approved by the FDA at this time, but that is the first thing that the team is going after. I mean, the benefits of this sort of device are pretty off the charts. Not only would an AR or smart contact lens improve on the normal capabilities of any human by providing on-eye text or other information, allow you to see in the dark and more, but also help people with impaired vision or degenerative eye diseases. Now, I should mention there's a difference between augmented reality devices and smart devices. Technically, right now, this is not an augmented reality contact lens. It soon will be, according to Mojo, but given the current tech, this is what is known as a smart device, as it's really just an overlay display over your eye. Eventually, after better displays and sensors are implemented, as well as something like smartphone tethering to unlock the processing power of a phone, information and interactable virtual objects can be thrown into your vision, thus making this an augmented reality display. Obviously, there's a long way to go with these contact lenses, but they're still insanely cool. Of course, there's all sorts of concerns with devices like this, like literally having cameras that become part of your body. You know, if you don't like CCTV or other forms of surveillance, something like this might be a little bit more than concerning. Also, having batteries attached to your eyeballs make my body cringe up a little bit, but the batteries used are also an extremely thin solid-state battery that are not only non-flammable, but also don't contain the dangerous acidic chemicals that liquid-state batteries do. Regardless, I think as more devices like this pop up, it's all a matter of how society and the tech itself evolves with it. I personally think it's somewhat inevitable that things like this will ingrain themselves into our everyday lives, but it's amazing to think that it may just be coming sooner than expected. And now, on to a meme break! So, there were some hilarious interactions and drama that went on between former VR YouTuber Sweviver and Upload VR, a VR news publication. If you need some very short explanation as to why I say former VR YouTuber, it's because while Sweviver did make VR-related content for years, he's now the European marketing director for PiMax. Look, when you go from making content like this to this, not saying great, needed things aren't being done for the VR community to shed light on PiMax via your videos, but you're no longer a VR YouTuber, you're a marketing director for one company within the VR space. Anyways, apparently Upload VR posted an article that PiMax will be moving its US-based customer service back to China. This is obviously not a great thing. Longer response times, language and cultural barriers. I mean, having a fluid, easygoing customer support center is monumental for a growing company, especially for something like an expensive high-end VR headset. You're not just selling a headset, but you're selling an idea of what VR should be, and creating a supportive fan base off of that idea. But back to what actually happened. This article goes live on Upload VR and is backed up by words stated by PiMax COO Kevin Henderson in an interview with MRTV Sebastian A.
It's all coming out of Shanghai for the support and the service and those aspects of it. And that's,
but why? Why?
That's unfortunate.
So all the support is now made in China.
Yeah.
Now, it's pretty hard to get the words jumbled up here. According to the COO, customer support is moving back to China for better or worse. Well, our friendly PiMax European marketing director had some stern things to say on Twitter while representing the entirety of PiMax. Quote, "As long as I am the European marketing director of PiMax, there will be no more interviews, invites, or discussions with Upload VR on future PiMax events, exhibitions, or press releases. Due to the lack of professional, trustworthy, and serious journalism, and the extremely biased opinions from Upload VR press team, which obviously has a hidden agenda, I have personally come to the conclusion our company should no longer in any way associate our brand and products with this bloated kind of media, in hands of former Reddit keyboard warriors. The false statements made by Upload VR are prone to hurt our company's partner, relationships, and business model, and it will lead us to take legal actions if necessary." End quote. Oof. Completely shutting down relations with Upload VR on PiMax's half seems a little bold and threatening legal action because a news outlet picks up on words said by your own COO, all while on Twitter, isn't a great look. Look, man, I'm not a huge fan of a lot of things some publications and news outlets do, especially when it feels like there's an agenda being pushed, but this drama is just a little too much. Really, why I'm covering this here on a meme break was because the whole interaction is more or less funny, at least to me. I have no beef with PiMax or Sweviver or Upload VR. In fact, I think everything that all of them do is huge for VR and the future of VR. But can't we all just play nice and not throw empty legal threats around? All this does is hurt credibility on every everyone's side. At this point in time, there have been no further statements from Sweviver, PiMax, or Upload VR regarding the move of customer service back to China. Sorry for the long meme break, but back to the news. Walking Dead Saints and Sinners drops this Thursday or January 23rd. This is a game that I've been extremely excited for, up there with Boneworks in terms of how the gameplay looks. It's going to feature a multi-hour campaign, in-depth physics interactions, and I'll be streaming it on launch day on my Twitch. I'll also be giving a couple copies of the game away during the stream, so feel free to stop by and you could just walk away with a free copy, or at least get my initial impressions of the game to see if it all lives up to the hype. Doctor Who: The Edge of Time is also launching on January 23rd for the Oculus Quest. So Edge of Time was already a really good looking game graphically for the PC and a pretty fantastic VR game in general. It was a little on the short side, but I still give it a very solid recommendation as a good VR experience, especially since a lot of the control issues at launch have been ironed out. Well, the game is coming to Quest, and surprisingly, it looks pretty darn good for a Quest game. I personally went into Edge of Time with zero Doctor Who experience or knowledge, and I was able to enjoy the game. So if you're looking for a fun, pretty terrifying sci-fi adventure game in VR, and all you have is a Quest, definitely give the Edge of Time a go. Solid recommendation for me. Facebook patents are up considerably for 2019. Now, this may seem like nothing, but then it's realized that the number of patents filed have increased by 64%, and a large number of those patents are within the optical elements category, with a subcategory of heads-up displays. Road to VR reports that this may be a significant push by Facebook filing patents for both AR and VR devices. All in all, regardless if this is just the first sight of some big things coming from Facebook in the future, or if nothing comes to fruition from these patents, it'll be interesting to see the results, and I'll definitely be keeping an eye on the filings. Now on to question of the week from CM Multichannel. What is my favorite non-VR game? So I honestly have to break this down into a single player and multiplayer category. My favorite single player game by far is Final Fantasy VII. I love almost everything about the story, world, characters, and gameplay, and it's a game that I've gone back to many times. It's just nothing can replace it in terms of how I feel about that game. For multiplayer games, it has to be Overwatch. I've spent too much of my life the past few years playing Overwatch, but I've also met amazing people and friends that I've even met in real life at events like BlizzCon through an online game. Of course, Overwatch and Blizzard and I have had our problems with metas and other questionable updates and decisions, but it seems like every season I'm always back in the seat, lobbing tree trunks at Mercies. Make sure to leave your own question of the week in the comment section below. It could be about anything. I may just answer yours next. And that's the week's news. Make sure to hop in the stream on Twitch today, as I will be live and chilling out in VR. Join up in the Discord for more information on that. Also, thank you to all of my amazing Patreon supporters. I wouldn't be able to do any of this without you, especially my Omegas like 3X, Walter, and Ninja. Don't forget to like this video if you loved it, subscribe if you want more of this, and hit that freaking bell if you just can't live without it. Much love, Thrill out.